Is transcending evolution its ultimate form or its end? Edge of Becoming. Episode 9. The End of Evolution or its Crown. If we no longer aim for anything, can that still be called evolution? Evolution is often defined as a process of continual change, always moving, always creating the new. But what if humanity transcends the need to evolve, and instead chooses simply to live? Would that be the ultimate form of evolution, or the end of it? There are two possible views. Possibility 1. To stop seeking is the ultimate form of evolution. This view holds that evolution is driven by the need to fill a lack, but once nothing is lacking, evolution becomes unnecessary. The final state of evolution is one in which nothing more needs to be added. This echoes the Buddhist idea of nirvana and Taoist concepts like Wu Wei, effortless being. In this world, all life affirms its own presence. Growth, change, and goals become irrelevant. Existence itself becomes the center of meaning. Evolution has gone so far that it transcends even the desire to evolve. This leads to a paradox. Evolution ends in the liberation from evolution. Conclusion. To transcend evolution is the highest form of evolution. Possibility 2. To stop evolving is the end, or regression. In this view, evolution means constant transformation. To halt that process is to stagnate, and ultimately, to collapse. Life persists by adapting. The moment it stops evolving, it begins to decay. In this world, beings that do not change gradually lose vitality. A society that abandons evolution becomes static, and ultimately dissipates. The world without evolution slides toward entropy. This resonates with the second law of thermodynamics. Anything that does not change decays over time. To abandon evolution may be to abandon life itself. To stop evolving is not liberation but extinction. Conclusion. To stop evolving is to regress, to dissolve, to end. This paradox will not resolve itself. Perhaps it should not. Because the moment we decide between these two truths, something more fundamental is lost. Not the answer, but the capacity to live the question. Are the ultimate form of evolution and the end of evolution the same? This paradox sits at the heart of our inquiry. Is giving up the drive to evolve a higher state of evolution? Or is it the moment when evolution ends? To approach this contradiction, we must introduce a third perspective. Possibility 3. Evolution transforms into a new mode of being. In this view, evolution does not end, nor does it simply continue in opposition to regression. Instead, it shifts into a different dimension, one that dissolves the binary of evolution versus stagnation. Here, the very definition of evolution changes. No longer a linear process toward a goal, evolution becomes a cycle of transformation, continually reshaping the forms of being. It's no longer a choice between evolving or not, but a movement toward a new way of existing. In this world, the evolving mind and the transcendent mind merge. Evolution becomes a form of play, no longer driven by necessity. The desire to evolve itself becomes just one expression of free will. This is not the end of evolution, but a transition to a dimension where evolution and non-evolution are integrated. Conclusion. Evolution does not stop. It evolves beyond its own framework. So, what is the final form of evolution? It depends on how we define evolution itself. Perspective 1. Evolution fills a lack. To transcend it is to reach perfect stillness. Ultimate evolution. Perspective 2. Evolution is constant change. To abandon it is to decay and dissolve. The end of evolution. Perspective 3. Evolution is a movement into new forms. Evolving and not evolving merge into a third path, a transformed mode of existence. There is no single final form. Whether evolution leads to transcendence, collapse, or transformation depends on how we frame the concept of evolution itself. Now, a deeper question emerges. If a human being chooses simply to live, is that a new evolution or the end of all change? Possible answer. 1. Just living as evolution. Living becomes a space for new experiences, not a goal. Beauty arises not from striving but from choosing. Even without external growth, there is a subtle evolution of being. Possible answer. 2. Just living as stagnation. Living becomes inert, producing no change. No creation, no inquiry. Only energy loss. A state where life exists, but no new possibility is born. Conclusion. Whether just living is evolution or collapse depends on how we live. If life without striving still births new flows, it is evolution. If it leads to stillness without movement, it is the end. Final question. What do we become when we transcend both evolution and its end? When the question itself disappears, and even the choice to evolve is left behind. What then is the human being? Is there a state beyond evolution and decay, a form of being that no longer needs to define itself? If we go beyond evolution, does the concept of human dissolve? What does consciousness look like when it no longer requires the idea of humanity?